During the 1992 presidential campaign, Ross Perot arguably played the role of spoiler, but he also played the role of realist. Throughout that campaign, Perot made it a point to highlight just how harmful so-called free trade agreements are for the United States. Here's what he had to say at one of the presidential debates that year.
To those of you in the audience who are business people, pretty simple. If you're paying $12, $13, $14 an hour for factory workers, and you can move your factory south of the border, pay $1 an hour for labor, hire a young 25, let's assume you've been in business for a long time, you've got a mature workforce. Pay $1 an hour for your labor, have no health care, that's the most expensive single element in making a car, have no environmental controls, no pollution controls, and no retirement, and you don't care about anything but making money, there will be a giant sucking sound going south.
Nearly 23 years later, Ross Perot's words still ring true. All across the United States, abandoned factories, which were once part of America's economic engine, are crumbling to the ground. The so-called free trade deals like NAFTA and CAFTA have decimated the American economy, screwed over working-class Americans, and shipped millions and millions of good-paying jobs overseas. Now, lawmakers in Washington are getting ready to sign on to yet another so-called free trade deal, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I prefer to call it the Southern Hemisphere Asian Free Trade Agreement, or SHAFTA. Fortunately, not all lawmakers are on board with the latest ploy to give corporations and the wealthy elite even more power. Senator Bernie Sanders has asked the United States' top trade representative, Michael Froman, to release the full text of the TPP. Sanders is asking for the release because the TPP has been written largely in secret. Even members of Congress have been kept in the dark about this agreement and what it says. In a letter sent to Froman, Sanders writes, "It is incomprehensible to me that the leaders of major corporate interests who stand to gain enormous financial benefits from this agreement are actively involved in the writing of the TPP, while at the same time, the elected officials of this country, representing the American people, have little or no knowledge as to what's in it." Sanders goes on to say that members of Congress must have the opportunity to read what is in the TPP and closely analyze the potential impact this free trade agreement would have on the American people long before the Senate votes to give the president fast-track trade promotion authority. Finally, Sanders asked Froman to explain why you think it is appropriate that the representatives of the largest financial institutions, pharmaceutical companies, oil companies, media conglomerates, and other major corporate interests not only have access to some of these documents, but are also playing a major role in developing many of the key provisions in it. While the TPP has been negotiated on and written in secret, many of its key details have been leaked, and those leaks paint a very disturbing picture about the effects that the TPP would have on the American people and our economy.